It is the day that Donald Trump now moves into the White House and Barack Obama officially moves out of the White House. Now, to have a conversation regarding that is Abel Oyeyo, who is the operations manager for a Center for African Progress. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you.
Now, history in the making, and of course there's been all sorts. Now, if anybody didn't believe that Donald Trump is going to be president, today is the day that seals that deal.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but here we are.
Absolutely.
So he's going to be sworn in as president.
Now, from your assessment and from your experience, what is it that you're looking forward that you think Donald Trump is going to do within the first 100 days?
He has to focus so much on bringing Americans together. I think he ran a very divisive campaign, and it was very negative. Of course, on the other side, it was also equally negative. So he has to focus so much on bringing Americans together. And then, of course, he has to focus on number one, number two, the economy, and then number three, undoing part of what Obama left behind, like Obamacare.
Okay. Now, in his speeches and when he speaks, most of the times he speaks like a businessman. He talks about cutting this deal and let's deal with that. It's always about a deal. Do you think that's going to work for him given where America is today?
Now, there's a big difference between managing a country and running a business.
Precisely.
And he's going to be able to learn that when he takes over as president today. Yeah, when he talks about dealing, I don't think it's going to work so much in leadership as it works in business for him. And it's a mistake if he tries to manage the U.S. as a business.
As a business?
Yes.
Do you think the systems in America are likely to rain on him? Because one of the fears, of course, given the kind of statements he made just as he was doing his campaign, what to do with segregation, what to do with, it's like he's negative towards certain religions, towards minorities. Are the systems in America likely to rain on him, or was that just a campaign tactic?
Now, that was a campaign, during a campaign, and Trump was able to lower the bar of the campaigns to a very, very base kind of, to the floor, in fact. He was able to talk about so many negative things. He was able to talk about the deportation of some people, barring Muslims from traveling to the United States, wholesome. And I think Americans went ahead and expected some funny things from him. Now, when he becomes president today, officially, of course, the U.S. is set in such a way that the president cannot do some things on his own. So much of what he talked about during his campaigns will not see the light of day as he becomes president. Okay. For example, he cannot just decide to say Obamacare to be done away with. There has to be a process.
Although, as he was campaigning, one of the things that he actually said he's going to get rid of, one of the number one things was actually Obamacare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to realize, just like the congressional and senatorial Republicans, that it's not going to be easy. The law, of course, has some good parts and some bad parts, and you can't just pick the bad parts and discard and then remain with the good parts. Right. So the process is going to be tough, and of course 10 million Americans got insurance, courtesy of Obamacare. So when you take it from them, there has to be something to replace
it. Right?
Yes, and it's got to be quick and better. It's going to be a process. They're going to learn that the hard way in the coming days.
Now, your thoughts, because one of the other concerns that the world over had once Trump comes into presidency is his relationship with Vladimir Putin.
That is a big problem because, of course, evidence has been provided to show that the Russians hacked the American political process. They hacked the DNC and stole emails and kept on, releasing them bit by bit. And that tanked Clinton's campaign. So Americans, I'm very sure, are concerned about the close connection between Trump and Putin. And then, of course, we went ahead and picked a very close Putin ally as Secretary of State. So I think what's going to happen is the intelligence community in the U.S. will keep track of what's going on. And in case of anything, I think Trump can be impeached if they realize he's working too closely with the Russians and compromising American interests.
One of the moves he has already indicated he's going to make is moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Do you think that is almost going to cause a little bit of a uproar?
Definitely, that is going to cause a problem because the Middle East is very volatile and you can't just move in and do some things.
Right.
If you tend to show a lot of support or partisan favoritism to the Israelis, the Palestinians will be up in arms. If you move carelessly and side with the Palestinians, Israelis will complain. So that is a very volatile situation and it's going to learn it the hard way. You can't just pick the U.S. embassy and move it to a contested Jerusalem. No, just like the Obama, it's been a big issue. Presidents have come, the likes of Clinton, the likes of Bush, and they've not been able to settle the Middle East crisis. So it's not like Trump is going to come in and make a deal very quickly. It won't be easy. Just like the other day, of course, the US abstained from a vote that went ahead to condemn the expansion of construction in the West Bank. Now, that was a very strategic move meant to tell Israel, we need a two-state solution that is supported practically. That means you have to stop the construction. Now, that is the path which could have assisted Trump. You control the Israelis and, of course, control the Palestinians as well, then they come to the negotiation table and settle their problems. So if we decide to side with the Israelis, he cannot find a partner in the Palestinians to sort the mess.
All right, now, most of what, has been going around has been a negative side of Trump presidency, but surely he's got to have some good qualities. What are some of the good qualities you think that he has as president of the U.S.?
The presidency is meant to be some kind of figurehead. It's a position that is meant to create inspiration and show leadership. It's not so much about... So what you say as a presidential candidate and later on as a president is taken seriously. And Trump has not been so careful to paint himself as someone who can inspire people or even, offer leadership. You can't come in as a presidential candidate and say all Muslims will be banned from coming to the United States. You cannot come in as president and say we're going to build a wall. Instead, you say we're going to build what? Bridges. So far, it's been so hard to find something positive about
There's
Trump.
nothing you can find in him that you think is maybe his business knack. He has a natural knack for, business deals, and maybe that could help the economy.
Maybe. For now, we can't tell because even the kind of approach he's giving to some policies which were put in place by Obama, is not, I couldn't call it wise. For example, you should have waited and examined, of course, the pros and cons of Obamacare before saying we're going to repeal and replace. I don't think he even understands that the Republicans have struggled to come up with an alternative. Up to now, they don't have one. So he's not sure that kind of caution. But
maybe his leadership skills, he certainly has a skill in leadership, although it is described as very abrasive.
Okay, let's assume he's a skilled businessman. And of course, we've seen him fire people in the apprentice and all that.
Yes.
You can't do that as an American president. We expected Trump to come in as a president to offer us even a small speech that brings Americans together. So far during his campaigns, he failed miserably. And I hope, as he addresses Americans today, he extends an hand of friendship to all Americans.
Well, according to a statement that was released earlier, they say that his speech has been written beautifully and will be delivered, I think, very, accurately. So we're waiting to see how that is going to go. But one of the things that he's been, or rather, some descriptions that come to mind when you think of Trump is abrasive. You look at erratic. And of course, that when you look at his Twitter handle, he's so now being called as the tweeting president. Yeah. Do you think that is likely to change once he takes office by virtue of the fact that you've mentioned as president, there is the president and there is the presidency, there is the office holder, there is the authority that comes with that office?
Yeah, I expect him to change. Of course, already his phone has been taken away. The Android phone he was using to tweet so much.
He could get another one. Yeah. He is the president of America
He was given another one, of course, by the Secret Service. The one he has now is encrypted and it's secure and safe, of course. And obviously, what's going to happen as he gets his new cabinet and he gets more information from the intelligence community, is going to a little bit, adjust his tweeting habits. You can't just wake up in the middle of the night and tweet the president of China abusing him or something like that. You're an American president. So I expect him to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also looking at it now from a softer angle. Of course, Barack Obama is one who is remembered for making the White House look friendlier, feel friendlier. For the first time, we were able to go in there with cameras and see what really happens in the White House with Michelle Obama setting up and putting up the garden kitchen. Exactly. Of course, she had a notion for that. Yeah. Trump seems to have approached it from a totally different angle, starting first of all with the press. How do you think his relationship with the press is going to go going forward?
Trump has been able to use his ability to sometimes bully the press. And what the mistake he's made is not regulated, that kind of ability, because I think he realized the press likes him. So he can do anything and say anything and they still follow him around. There was a press conference held, I think, on the 11th of January, where he was able to shut down the correspondent from CNN because of some kind of dossier, which was, of course, later declared fake. So he has to change. And Obama made that kind of statement, I think, yesterday, when he was talking about America being a democracy which allows for freedom of the press. He was taking a swipe at Trump.
Trump. I'll have to cut you short because we are out of time. But, well, it's good to have insight of what we're expecting from a Trump presidency. And thank you very much, Abel Oyeyo, who is the operations manager for Center for African Progress.